Yes, although I didn't want to come because I was afraid, but I just felt it's actually worth it for people to really know what is happening out there and how these so-called men of God go about sleeping with women, impregnating them, and ruining their lives, and also giving the other people who are out there a chance to speak out, and also letting mothers who are out there who entrust their daughters to men of God, for them to also know that they can't be trusted and the lives of our young ladies out there are in danger if proper measures are not taken against these men of God. And that was the reason why I came out to speak on the behalf of other young ladies and myself.
That's very interesting. How did you meet this Prophet Macaulay, and who is he, and how did he came across you? Because I heard some of the program, some of your revelation on some YouTube channels in London, but at the time, a particular guy that was handling it decided to, I don't know, maybe he changed the topic. But how did you came across this Prophet Macaulay, and who is he really?
Some 7 years ago, I went for a program in my brother's church. It was a Redeemed church where he was invited. That was when he gave me a prophecy concerning my life, that by the time I turned 25, that I'll run mad.
You run mad?
Yes, that was what he said. So that there was something I needed to do. So after then, he told us what to do. We actually followed his instruction. And I didn't see him then until later when I joined Genesis Global. When I got there, I saw him coming to the church, and the way he sees visions according to him, he tells a lot of people a lot of things, and people kind of testify to it that he's saying the truth, and the way he goes about doing his vision and everything. So everybody feels, including I, feels that he's a man of God and he's a very strong, spiritual, strong man. So he's been coming to our church several times. Then there was a day, I think in 2018, yes, I saw him. I was at Abulegba, so I think a mall, towards a mall. I went there, I greeted him with excitement. He gave me his number. I told him that I've known him 7 years ago. He came to our church, that somebody that had given me a prophecy before and all. So we exchanged numbers. To cut the whole story short, he called me one day and said he wanted to meet my fiancé. That, do I have a relationship? I said yes. He said he wanted to meet the person I was. So he told me to come and meet him up at an hotel, which I actually went to with my
which hotel?
Havana Hotel and Suites at Gowan Estate. So I went there. So on getting there with my fiancé, he now told my fiancé that I was a good person, I'm a good child. He said a lot of things about me as if he had known me. He said it was the Spirit of the Lord that told him that I'm a very decent lady. He said many, many things. And he said the guy should not treat me badly. And I attested at that time that no, he's a perfect young man. He now said, we now told him that my introduction was close, like it was 4 weeks close by, that we had 4 weeks to my introduction, that I should pray along with us and everything. So I think that the following week, I think he called me on a Sunday and told me that I should fast on a Tuesday, that there was a revelation he saw, he wants to pray for me about it. So and I said, can't he talk about it over the phone? He said no, that he had to see me in person. So he said he was coming to Genesis on Tuesday. So I said, okay, no problem. That okay, when he comes, that he should let me know so that we can see and talk about it.
Which of the parishes of Genesis?
The one at Alakoko.
Okay.
So I was wondering that what kind of, because I was scared, like, hey, hope it's not something bad though. My introduction is around the corner, of which you had even informed Israel Oladele that we were about getting married, that we even needed him to give us a go ahead, because Israel Oladele Ogundipe, prophet in charge of Genesis Global, was actually aware from the inception of the relationship even till that time. So when I expected, I didn't see Prophet Macaulay for Lauren Shaw. at the program eventually. So I was on my way home when his call came in, and he said he was unable to make it for the program because he has another program that he's planning to go for. So I now said, okay, that he now said, and he needs to give me the message that it's very, very important.
And he cannot give you a phone?
He said he couldn't give me the message on phone. So I decided that, okay. And I said, what are we now going to do? He now said, I was thinking he was probably going to say maybe another day. So he now said, okay, can I come and meet him somewhere around Ijoko? That, do I know Ijoko? I said, I know Ijoko. He now said, I should come and meet him there. He said, when I get to Songo, I think he said when I get to Songo, I should call him. Okay, he said, no, he said, when I get to Songo, I should call him. But he mentioned Lesoke. That's what Lesoke. That's the way he mentioned. So I now said, okay, that when I get to Songo, I'm going to ask for Lesoke, because I actually felt Lesoke was an area around there. So me, I just took a bike when I got to Songo and said, I'm going to Lesoke. So it was when we now got there that I now saw that it was an hotel, because I didn't know. I now called him. I was like, hotel ni our, but I didn't feel insecure, because the first time I and my fiance went to meet him, hotel no ni, we went there to meet him at the hotel. So I didn't have any reason to question, and knowing fully well that he was a spiritual person and was a man of God, I never even thought that he had ulterior motive. So I now said, hotel in the bit, but I now said that I should be coming up, that he has a program, and most of the time when they have programs, they lodge them very close to an hotel where it will be easy for mobility for them to access the program, the place. So I went in. So when I got there, he asked me if I was still fasting. I told him that yes, I was still fasting. And I said, I had to break my fast. And I said, that I'm not really hungry, that I'll break my fast when I get home. So he insisted that I have to break my fast, that he's not my father, that can't he talk to me. And he was almost getting angry, and I didn't want him to get angry, like, because I really, really hold him in high esteem. I was always afraid of him and everything. So I ate the food.
What food was that?
He told me to eat rice, and I told him that after so much persuasion, I ate the food. And after I ate the food, I just noticed that everything changed. I started taking to everything he asked me to do. If he says do this, without question, and I noticed that I was numb, sort of, and I was feeling dizzy, very uncomfortable. But I was helpless and I was powerless. That was how he had his way with me. Took advantage of me and slept with me.
That same day?
That same day.
How did he do it? He just undressed you or what?
He didn't undress me. Like I said earlier, that I was uncomfortable. I was numb. Everything he was telling me to do, I was doing it after I ate the food, because I was quite normal before I ate that food. Because it really took time for me to really sit down and like, what really happened? So after that, he was giving me instructions, do this, do that. I kept doing everything, and that was how he raped me. It was a rape. It was not like I consented with him. There was nothing like that. And after that, he told me that he should not be heard from me, that I should not tell anybody anything.
He said that to you?
Yes.
Was it like a threat or a plea?
It was a threat. That woman boruko eyan je and stuffs.
How did he say it in Yoruba?
Ṣé mo mọ̀ pé òjíṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run ni òun ò dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ gbọ́ pé mo lọ sí ibì kan pé mo wá lọ sọ nǹkan kan fún ẹnìkan kan o. Ṣé mo ti gbọ́? It sounded harsh. At the same time, he was trying to be subtle while saying it. So I was afraid, and I left. And I couldn't even tell anyone.
Sorry.
Please, can I have a minute?
Sorry. Don't break down. I've told you not to break down before this interview. I've told you not to break down. Sorry. Strong. These things happened. It happens to people. It happens to a lot of women. And in most cases, it could be your own campaign. I've told you about other people who have gone through it. So, and I prepared your mind before this interview. So try to just be courageous. Sorry. Just take it easy. It's gonna be okay. Let's continue. Just be courageous, just for the sake of this broadcast, okay? So that day at Lesoke, that was what happened.
That was what happened.
And you couldn't just comprehend yourself. You couldn't get your bearing again. It was like you were under a spell.
Yes, it was like I've been hypnotized. I knew it couldn't have been me. Like, so he told me to leave, and I left. I was devastated. I could not. I went back to see my fiancé that same day, and I could not tell him anything because one, I knew we were very close to my introduction and our introduction, and
sorry, take it easy. Take it easy. You have to be strong. I know you're a young person. It's not easy when people break your heart. That's what happened. Just take it easy. And increase your voice. Sorry. And you couldn't just, you are not even free to tell him what happened.
He noticed something was wrong.
Okay.
He repeatedly asked me that what was the problem. He kept asking me, but I could not tell him because I was so afraid. I didn't know what he would do at that time, so I decided not to tell him anything. I was still not fine. Like, after so many days, I still was not myself. Not quite long. 3 weeks later, I discovered I was pregnant.
My God. Were you able to do that, your traditional marriage?
No.
So what happened? Before was it before that you discovered you were pregnant, or after that didn't take place?
After the incident.
Okay.
I couldn't tell him what has happened. And I felt so guilty that I was the one feeling guilty, actually. I wasn't supposed to feel that way, but I was feeling that it was all my fault, that if I had not gone there. So I could not even go further with anything anymore. Like, he would tell me, I started, especially when I discovered that I was pregnant. At that time, I could not, it was like the introduction and everything was not even
flexible.
I didn't know how I was going to. So at that time, he was not asking me that what is the problem. That why my fiancé was asking me that why am I not, what is really happening. I couldn't tell my parents anything any longer about the whole thing. So when I discovered that I was now pregnant, I called this man and I told him that, excuse me, sir, this is what has happened.
Me following my colleague?
Yes. The man just treated me like an animal.
How?
Just damned me over the phone that she mo fe ba ministry on Jenny.
That was what his response?
Yes, she mo fe ko ba on ni. That I should go and look for a way to sort it out and everything.
Thing that you told him in a humble way that daddy, I've missed my period. So he just trashed you on phone?
He just trashed me over the phone. So I went for it. He now told me that I had to look for a way to go and get rid of the pregnancy forcefully. And knowing fully well that I was about getting introduced and probably engaged at the same time, I didn't know what to do. I was confused.
You were totally confused.
I was totally confused. So I had to go and get rid of the pregnancy.
How was the experience?
It was painful.
How many weeks was that pregnancy then?
It was 3 weeks.
Speak loud.
It was 3 weeks.
Okay.
It was 3 weeks. So after the whole thing, all of a sudden I saw his call. Again. But I noticed that ever since that first incident, he had a very strong hold on me. I'm not always able to turn back or resist or words. If he shouts at me, I'm not always able to. I can't even control myself around him. Like he has this strong hold on me, on my emotions. I can't. But I'm just. So when he came back, he was begging over the phone, and he requested I wanted to see me. He begged and begged. I told him I wouldn't see him. That after all he did to me, that there was no how I would see him. I never wanted to set my eyes on him. I started saying many things. He later said I should please. I now reluctantly said, okay, no problem. I was going to see him. I got there I was on my way with so much anger that I'm going to talk, I'm going to this, I'm going to that. I was so angry. But on getting there, I couldn't say anything.
You became calm again?
I became very calm.